is everyone positioned correctly? Will everyone get a good start? Naughty Dragon 05 is a bit behind again. Psycho Kaiser may get the head start. It looks like Psycho Kaiser is a bit in front. They are about head to head, and they are starting. We are race 2, we are IBGTC, and it looks like Naughty Dragon is lining up better. But let's see who starts better. It is green, and again Charmander has a drastically impressive start. Psycho Kaiser losing quite a few positions, immediately being in the middle there and getting touched by a BMW. Side by side, and Thomas Wilson edges over, and that was Akito taking out Thomas Wilson. Mentrix is currently trying to get a position from his fellow BMW driver Trazione Integrale. perhaps maybe wants to impede. And that was a slide caught by Charmander there. Very close for the Sri Lankan driver, and Psycho Kaiser knows there's a back markers up ahead, but the back markers are fighting their own fight. Gero Kanemoto lets off but crashes into Charmander. What is this? That is not beautiful. That is not what we want to see.
No! One bubble.
Hello and welcome everyone to Brands Hatch, the beautiful British circuit that lies right, well, relatively close to London actually, in the county of Kent. We are racing here today on a Saturday at IVGTC. And, well, it is a special, well, not a special day. Every day is a special day in that regard. But today, we have a very close battle at the front. If we look at the standings, we see that Charmander and Psycho Kaiser are currently fighting it out in the VTuber Championship. And Charmander is only 5 points ahead of Psycho Kaiser. Now the two have been battling it out with one another in the qualifying session already. Qualifying has been already on for like 23 minutes. But yes, these two will be battling it out today very closely, and we will be keeping an eye on them. In the Sim Racer standings, we have Naughty Dragon 05 and Chris Blue in the lead. However, it seems like both of them are not here today. In their place, there are some new racers, Le Caselas, for example, or I think that is Ferdinand Russo. I will have to check that really quick. It's Fabiano Russo, I am very sorry, the Brazilian. And they are putting in pace into the asphalt. Tom Hartog will be able to manifest their good standing in a championship if they just keep up the pace with those newcomers. Let's get right into the qualifying session. If we look at the overlay, we have Charmander currently in the lead. Now it seems like Chris Blue and Dragon 05 are not racing today. That is, well, it is a shame for the standings, but we have many other racers who will be looking to battle it out. 21 at the minute. That is a good turnout. We see Charmander here, right behind that. I think right behind Dabrovka, the B12 Aston Martin driver. Charmander, of course, in the Audi, the Green Lion Racing Audi. To finish that thought, Dragon 05 as well as Chris Blue could still join the qualifying session if they make it within the next 14 minutes. They could also join during race 1, but then they could only come during race 2. Unfortunately, we have not heard anything of where they are, what they are currently doing, but yeah. Judging by the last few races, if they haven't shown up by now, I don't think they will still show up. But therefore we got some new blood, as I said already. We have Le Casellas driving with their BMW M4 for Turner Motorsport. Beautiful Liqui Moly livery, I have to say. We have Fabiano Russo driving for Russo. The Brazilian is making their first outing with the IVGTC today, if I see this correctly. And we've got Sebastian Fuck, who is also a new guy, driving for Planex SMA Cam Racing. Also a nice looking livery. And they are also a newcomer to the series. And rather quick, as you can see, they are P5 currently in the qualifying standings overall. We have Tom Hartog driving with the 50 years BMW M Grey Camo livery BMW M4. We have Mikhail Velikov, who is also new, driving for Mavic Racing Team with their... I don't know if that is a completely custom livery or if that is just made with the in-game editor. Either way, I like the color scheme. Anatoly Bujnovic is also here. He has been with us for a few races now. Last time around, didn't have the best of luck, got taken out in T1 of race 1. We have Gary Slater driving with the full black Audi. And then someone has battled their way to the top while I was talking. VTuber Mirko VR is actually now up there with their Aston V8. V8? Yeah? V8, I believe. Yes. And Mirko is looking to manifest their P3 in the VTuber standings. And with that pace, if they can show that pace during the race, I can tell you, boy, that will be a battle for P1. 3 VTubers within 100th of a second currently. but they are still pushing. With Jordan Branch, who is, I believe, the sole representative for Koneko Racing today. The other Koneko Racing drivers are participating at the iRacing 24 Hours of Le Mans, if I understood that correctly. We have Yuri Nikolai, who has been with us for a few races, and in a classic BMW livery. And another new rider, Putera Daniel Hazri, driving for Marquis Soundervolt with the Nissan. Lovely to see those car picks that do not get the most. With Adrian Dabrowka with the Bilstein AMR team. This is a beautiful custom livery, I have to say. I like the color scheme and I like the car. It is, of course, the V12 Assen. Unfortunately, currently not on the racetrack, so we do not get to hear the beautiful sound. With Christoph Retsch, who is racing for Chris. Alright, and I believe this might be an in-game livery then. But color scheme, beautiful, with the orange accents there, lovely. Ryuma Tateyama driving for RR Factory Gaspol. The VTuber will be looking to get some action in today. Being very close, actually, on track currently to Shike Hawken. That Porsche is a sight to behold. I was just stunned for a minute there. Next up we got Panic Fungus driving with the McLaren 720S, if I see it correctly. Driving for V-Rate Racing. We have Trazione Integrale, one of our moderators, and of course host to this league, driving for Trazione Squadra Course. We have iMentrix VT, who is looking to battle it out with Trazione Integrale today. And we have Kageru Kanemoto, who unfortunately last time around had a bit of a slip up into T1. Hopefully these will not be repeated. And we have a late joiner. Chris Blue is now in the server. Just enough time for one stint of qualifying. We'll see what Chris Blue can do. The line next to the car brands, that is the ping. So basically, if it's green, that means the people are located closely to the server. The server is located in Germany, by the way. And if they have a yellow or orange, that means they have a worse ping to the server, probably because they are further away. I know, for example, Shike Hawken is from Asia, so they are going to have a worse ping than, for example, Sebastian Fack, who is from Germany. All right. Psycho Kaiser improved their time in the meanwhile to a 24.4, and trust me, I know that is a difficult time to achieve. I tried today, I tried for a solid hour, but only managed to get an... well, I almost managed to get a 24.6, but that was screwed up in the last corner. Hopefully these people will not manage to do that. Psycho Kaiser, however, wanting to get the championship lead, it seems, with this P one qualifying position currently. There are still 6 minutes left in qualifying. That is enough for a good 4 or 5 laps around this circuit. If someone were to exit the pits right now, they could still get in a few laps. Chris Blue, we see, is coming up to their first lap of the circuit. First out lap. We are going to follow him through Paddock Hill Bend. Now we get into Druids, his right-hander, hairpin. And we get into this left-hander, which is the bottom bend. And onto the bottom straight. You can go a bit off track there, but not too much, otherwise the lap is invalidated. Now through the south bank, and we get onto the longest straight on the track, through which the Pilgrim's drop occurs. This drop down right here. Now we got Hawthorne Bend. This right-hander is very quick. You try to keep it in third or fourth gear depending on your car. Now through the Portobello straight onto the Westfield Bend. Now this small Dingle Bell and Dingle Dell corner. Here we go. Now this 90-degree left-hander Sterling's pretty much the second slowest corner on the track, and through clearways we go. And last but not least, through Clark Curve we go to get back onto the Brabham straight, the start finish straight. And across the line goes Chris Blue, goes into 13th position. They are going to definitely look to improve on that time. Who is currently looking to improve their time is Tom Hartog, however. Right behind Chris Blue is currently 3/10 up on their time. I know the first sector is a very special sector to work with. It is challenging, to say the least, to get a perfect line through there. Tom Hartog now managing to get safe up to 4/10 up onto this straight. They're probably looking to make it into the 24s as the second sim racer, but that is unfortunately off track for Tom Hartog, and that is the lap invalidated. Caselas, however you pronounce that, I am very sorry if I butcher the pronunciation. They are 1/10 up, but lost quite some time through there. That is very unfortunate. What is not unfortunate is Psycho Kaiser, however, who is currently going on to the start finish straight, the Brabham straight, with 5/10 up on their time. If this is a valid lap, it is a 23.9. What a showing from Psycho Kaiser, demolishing the opponents. Charmander and Merkur VR only 8/10 behind that now. What a showing from the Malaysian, if I remember correctly. I will have to check that really quick. Yes, the Malaysian with the highest ping, but with the quickest lap. Very great showing by Psycho Kaiser. He's definitely looking to get the championship lead today. And this is the fight on for Charmander, who seems like they cannot improve on their time, or do not plan on improving on their time anymore. Now, one thing I should mention still is the numbers behind, the colors behind the numbers on the standings table. If there is a white number, if there's a black number on a white background, it means the racers are in the VTuber class. And if there is a white number on a silver background, it means it's the simracer class. And currently it looks like there's a rather large divide between the VTubers. The simracers much closer together. But yes, technically, these two classes are not fighting each other for position or for points. They're only fighting each other for bragging rights. You want to call it like that? The bragging rights seem to be going in favor of the VTubers today. If Psycho Kaiser's time does not get bested, Tom Hartog, however, is 5/10 up on their time. Now losing a bit. And losing even more on their last lap. Oh, now only 2/10 up on their time. This would get them up into P2 for Simracer class still. Can they keep it through Clark Corner? Onto the Brabham straight, and they save a bit of time. Is it enough for a 24? Just barely not, but it is enough to start in front of Russo. Chris Blue is also, well, would improve on that time if they weren't already through the finish line. Yes, qualifying is already at an end. There's one more person that can improve in the time. It's Christoph Retsch. They need 4/10 in order to catch Yuri Nikolai currently. But they lost quite some time and are down on that time. Seems like pretty much everyone else is in the pits or done with their laps. Christoph Retsch swerving across the finish line. And there we go. We are on the starting grid. Let's take a look through the starting grid together, shall we? Starting at the front, we have Psycho Kaiser in the left, in the right lane technically, in front of Charmendo and Merkur VR. Then Le Casillas, Tom Hartog, Russo, Sebastian Fack, M. Velikov, Chris Blue, Gary Slater, Buinovic, Jordan Brunch, Daniel Hasri, Yuri Nikolai, Christoph Retsch, Zabrovka, Hawken, Tateyama, Fungus, Integrale, BT, Mentrix, and Kanemoto rounding off the back. These 22 drivers will be battling it out today on Brands Hatch, on this beautiful circuit. All of their trucks are also there. Lovely to see. And soon, the opening lap will start. We have a full formation lap going on today. And let's see who will get the better start. Let's switch to the race 1 overlay because we are starting race 1 soon. Now it's about tire warming, although they probably don't need to warm their tires as much as we have 35 degrees of track temperature and no wind. Holy macaroni, it's hot again. It's hot in Great Britain and the track is optimal. Can these drivers capitalize on maybe some other drivers' demise? Because in these hot conditions, it is all about the tire temps. It is all about keeping the temperatures cool, keeping the tires not overinflated, basically. And who can get that better? Who can get the temps better? Who can get the pressures better? Will it be Psycho Kaiser? Will it be Charmando? Will it be Merkur? That is going to be the interesting question today, as it has been in the last 3 races. Yes, because we are at round 4. We are at round 4 of the IVGTC. Our drivers are looking to battle it out. They're lining up in next to each other. Let's see who will get the better start. Will it be Psycho Kaiser or will it be Charmander? Or will it be one of the people behind? They're lining up on the grid. Let's see who will get the best start. Psycho Kaiser is looking like they are good in front. But Charmando has been a great starter the last few times around. They're bunching up, everyone. And we are green. We are racing, and Charmander seems to have the outer line. There's a bit of touching, and Charmander goes off track in T1. Better bet, and there is carnage in the rear. Some touching, some vying for positions. The stewards will definitely have a look. And the one who got the worst off in the start is Russo. What happened exactly? Let's watch this again. The Russo is on the outside, goes to the inside, gets touched. Oh, they touch the driving lines, just collide. And Russo just lands in the tire bundle on the side of the road. That is not a great showing for the first time around. What is happening further up ahead? We got Psycho Kaiser leading almost a second already up on Merkur VR, who is directly being followed by Chris Blue. Chris Blue with a mega start, it seems. And there's Charmander going off in the background. Let's take a look if that was assisted by anyone else. Charmander braking. Oh, and just getting it a bit wrong on the curbs. That is very unfortunate. And there is some damage. But will it have to get repaired? Anyways, Chris Blue is currently overtaking Merkur VR. The American is having a great race. And Merkur went off track there. And Sebastian Fack is overtaking. Got the position. And Tom Hartog is also looking to make the move stick. Tom Hartog made it! What is going on with Merco VR? That is the reverse gear. That is the wrong gear for the VTuber. Losing positions left, right and center. Chris Blue, on the other hand, 2.6 seconds behind the lead already, but building a gap to TRACC and Hartog, who are battling it out. Now, who is the winner and the losers of the starting grid? We have Panic Fungus making up 9 positions in the start. And Russo, who unfortunately is in the pits now. And Bujnovic also having had some troubles in the beginning, losing 9 positions. But Chris Blue making up 7 positions in the start. That is an immense showing by the American. And what happened to Merco VR just now? Oh, it seems like they crashed off the track into the tire barrier on the end of the longest straight as a fast corner, and it's hard to rejoin here. That's unfortunate, and they are now down in 17th position. Ay, ay, ay. They probably won a better race today. Who can blame them? But it doesn't always go as planned. What goes as planned currently is for Psycho Kaiser the race. They are 2.7 seconds up on the nearest competitor. That is some great showing by the Malaysian. They set the pace in qualifying, and now they are setting the pace in race 1 as well. Yuri Nikolai went off track. What happened there? Following closely behind Dubrovka. What happens on the braking zone into this left-hander? Ooh. Either Nikolai didn't hit their brake marker, or Dubrovka kind of braked a bit too early. Unfortunate for Yuri Nikolai, however. Velikov, in the meanwhile, is following Gary Slater. What can the 2 German manufactured drivers do? Mikhail Velikov, of course, driving with the BMW M4, following Gary Slater in the Audi R8. Will there be a move into Druids? It's a bit too far away for Mikhail Velikov. In the meanwhile, Sebastian Feck is catching up to Chris Blue. It seems like the McLaren driver managed to get a rather good pace going on after the questionable starting grid. And now catching up to the American, closely on their tails. Another battle is going on directly behind us. Lecaseas following Tom Hartog. And let's see. Tarmendor is catching up to them as well. Oh, that's a bit of a slide for Lecaseas. but caught. And Charmander is catching up to Le Casillas. Oh, and that is an off-track moment for Tom Hartog. The Dutch driver going offline, off-track, into the gravel trap. That is not going to help them. However, we have Charmander directly behind now. Further up ahead, we have Sebastian Fack, who is looking to make a move on Chris Blue. On the outside, is a bit hard into this right-hander. It is a very quick right-hander, therefore there's not much braking required, and you cannot really outbrake another driver through there. Oh, and there's a bit of a slide, but it was caught and saved. Yuri Nicolai is looking to overtake Trazione Integrale in the meanwhile. Trazione Integrale making up a bunch of spaces in the pursuit, well, in the beginning stages of the race. But Yuri Nicolai has a very damaged car and probably has some troubles keeping it in between the white lines due to that. Let's hope the suspension damage is not too high. Fack is still following Blue onto the longest straight, through the drop, into the fast right-hander they go. That is a good place to make up some time, but it is a hard place as well to drive around, and to drive around on the limit even more. But it seems like Chris Blue might be holding up Fack just the tiniest bit, simply because the fastest lap of the German driver is 3/10 quicker currently than the fastest lap of the American. Psycho Kaiser in the meanwhile having the purple lap of the circuit with a 24.795 and lapping in the 24s. Nobody else on track is able to do that. That is a great showing and great pace by the Malaysian driver. Charmander in the meanwhile is catching up to Tom Hartog. But honestly, how much can they do in this position? They can go for overall position on track, but I highly doubt they can catch up to Psycho Kaiser, who is off in the lead. And Chike Hawken is also 20 seconds behind them. It seems like if there is not anything major happening, the VTuber top 3 are already set in stone. Back, however, in the meanwhile, managed to get the overtake done. Let's take a look if we can find it. On the long straight, they were side by side into the fast right-hander, and the move was not done here yet. There's a bit of off-tracking by Chris Blue. And how is it done? Chris Blue going just a bit wide and catching it just barely in front of the slow left-hander. That was a simple move for the Planix SMA Cam racing driver. But maybe they have the clear space that they needed now to get a safe second position. Charmander in the meanwhile is still behind Tom Hartog, and Jordan Brunch did just overtake Dubrovka, as I see it. The closest battle on field is currently Charmander, closing in on Tom Hartog. Whether the Sri Lankan driver will go for the overtake, however, is questionable. What do they have to gain from it? What do they have to lose, potentially? Well, the gains is an overall track position, but they will not catch up to Psycho Kaiser. Going for the inside line on the Brabham straight. And there's Tom Hartog going wide. That is an easy overtake for Charmander. It is a tough track to drive around. Oh, there must have been some trouble for Shike Hawken. Let's check. Get side by side, a better exit for Jordan Brunch. Was just a better exit for Jordan Brunch out of a very quick section, and here just the V12 action going on next to it. Now we get onto the straight, and the straight is where the V12 shows its strength. Let's see if there's a move that Dubrovka can make. Doesn't seem like it this time around, as they both get closer to a back marker up ahead. That is Tateyama, I believe, as Shike Hawken goes wide and rejoins. Oh, that is not the best of rejoins, but it was safe enough. And Merkur VR now gained back the position from Shike Hawken. Merkur VR is now on course for the podium. Well, at least they have inside of them Jordan Brunch in the black and gold Chronicle Racing livery up ahead, inside on every straight, and that is going to probably push Merkur VR to get around Dubrovka as soon as possible. And the Aston Martin, the new Aston Martin, shows the old Aston Martin who is boss. There's the back marker, and there is Brunch going wide. If the back marker was involved there, why is Tateyama not going out of the way? That is not the best action that you can hope for. And Dubrovka gets a bit unstable in the back there. Manages to catch it, however. Now Dubrovka and Hawken are trying to get past this pesky back marker. That is not getting out of the way. Trying to go on the outside. Okay. The stewards are definitely going to have a look at this after the race is done. This back marker behavior is interesting to say the least. What is also interesting is the battle between Le Casellas and Chris Blue. Chris Blue going for the defensive line right now and managing to hold it in. Through the fast section they go. Le Casellas looking at their competitor up ahead very closely as they catch up to some back markers who get out of the way. That is Kanemoto out of the way off track. Now they get even more back markers. Chris Blue makes quick Quick work of them and Le Casellas as well, but it seems like Le Casellas lost quite a bit of time tangling around with these back markers. So halfway through the race, let's go through the standings together. Psycho Kaiser is leading the race with a best lap of a 24.4. That is a strong showing. Sebastian Fack for Planex SMA Cam Racing is in second position. And we have Chris Blue, Le Casellas, Charmando, Tom Hartog, Mikhail Velikov, Gary Slater, Kutera Daniel Hasri, VTuber Mirko VR, Adrian Dabrovka, Chike Hawken, Trazione Integrale, Anatoly Bujnovic, Panic Fungus off track. What happened there? Was there collision involved? It doesn't seem like that. Panic Fungus just going out of the way, going off track and not managing to break it down on the off track. And reset to pits. Unfortunate. And we have Kageru Kanemoto. We have Imantrix VT. Yuri Nikolai, who is currently overtaking Mentrix. Gordon Brunch. Fabiano Russo, Christoph Ratch, and Ryuma Tateyama. Now, Casellas is coming closer again to Chris Blue. Casellas having a better best pace. But both racing in BMWs. Chris Blue, however, in the M6, whereas Casellas is in the newer M4 and is coming rather close already. Blue, Chris Blue, both going wide, taking all of that the track has to offer. Casellas is coming closer, ever closer, showing themselves in the rear view mirror of Chris Blue, but making a bit of a mess of the turn into Druids. The M4, however, is a great car through corners, whereas the M6 is a bit better on the straights. If I am correct in what I'm reading, and online, what you read is correct all the time, definitely. Through the fast section, who has the edge? As they are coming close to Sebastian Fack in front. The Germans seems like they are having a bit of a troublesome time right now. As the two BMWs edge ever closer. Within 1 second now of the McLaren are the BMWs. Will they work together to catch up, or will their Casellas emotions get the better of them, and will they fight with Chris Blue? Can they even catch up to Fack? One thing that is certain is that they are coming up to a back marker up ahead. But further down the field, we have Shike Hawken in hot pursuit of Adrian Dabrowka. As they come onto the Brabham Straight, there's actually a bit of a bend. But never mind that. Now, the Porsche, known for its prowess in cornering, but also known for being very tail and happy if you do not manage to work the traction control correctly or efficiently as needed. There was a bit of an off-track in front of them. That is a yellow flag, and that is Kanemoto, or is that Mentrix? I think that is Mentrix off-track. Yes, exactly. Unfortunate for the German VTuber. However, Shike Hawken used this confusion to get closer to Dabrowka. But through the fast section, the V12 should have the edge. Elsewhere on track, Casillas is still in hot pursuit of Chris Blue as they are passing a back marker. Who got the better of the passing of, I think that it was Anatoly Buinovic this time. Did Casillas get a bit of an advantage there perhaps? It doesn't look like it. However, they are catching up on the straight in the slipstream. As someone enters the pits, who is that? That is Sebastian Fack in the lead of the sim racer class, enters the pits. What is going on? Did they believe there was a mandatory pit stop? We have no mandatory pit stop in this championship. Yet they are pitting and losing positions to everyone. Meaning Chris Blue has the lead again. Right behind Mentrix, having to negotiate the back mark now again into the corner. That was not the best cornering for the American. And right behind them is Casillas. Harry Slater used to be on the heels of Tom Hartog, made a mess of a bit something. And Shike Hawken made it past Adrian Dabrowka. It looks like I'll have to guess here, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think the Indonesian driver of Shike Hawken has a bit of an edge in terms of overall pace. Casillas in the meanwhile fighting for the sim racer overall lead. There's a bit of a defensive line driving already by Chris Blue, but that will have them have the worst exit of T1. Casillas cannot capitalize on it, however. Gary Slater again is close to Hartog, going on the inside and going a bit off track. And that was Tom Hartog going a bit wide. That is too bad for Gary Slater. But that was Tom Hartog getting just a bit loose, a bit too much loose, going into the side of Gary Slater and pushing them off track in the meanwhile. Casillas is still following Chris Blue. They're losing a bit of ground now. Are they losing the pace, Le Casillas? Now, towards the end of the race. Did they not manage to save their tires as much as Chris Blue might have? Was the M4 just more hungry on those tires? Trazione Integrale, meanwhile, is in the pits, and that is an interesting pit stop position. Reset in the pits, unfortunately. That is the end of Trazione Integrale's race. And Sebastian Vettel is nowhere to be seen, basically. Has nobody around them. 8 seconds behind the next sim racer. Closest battle on track is still Le Casillas, following up but going a bit off track here. That will have them have the worst exits. However, they managed to keep just within slipstream range of Chris Blue, capitalizing on the slipstream, on the short straight, and getting a good exit now. But Chris Blue going defensive. Can Casillas capitalize on that? No, the defensive line has turned out well for Chris Blue. Oh, that is a bit of an off track. That invalidates the lap actually, and probably gets Casillas a track limit warning. That's what I wanted to say. They're losing a bit of ground. Behind them, however, is Charmandor trying to go negotiate the back marker of Tateyama. Tateyama, in this case, not quick enough on the straight. We have 5 minutes to go until the checkered flag. Psycho Kaiser is still in the lead by 20 odd seconds now. Adrian Dubrovka unfortunately losing ground on Shike Hawken. However, the back marker of Kanemoto is there in the way. So as the things currently stand, the VTuber class will be looking like this. Psycho Kaiser in the lead, in front of Charmandor, Merkur, and Hawken, making up the top 4. Kanemoto being P5 in the VTuber class, while Jordan Brunch takes 6 and Mentrix 7. The Sim Racer class. Chris Blue is leading the way ahead of Casillas and Velikov. 2 new drivers this time around are on the podium immediately, but Chris Blue, the veteran already of this series, of this season at least, has the better so far. And that is Tom Hartzog going off as we switch to them. What happened there? Right behind Anatoly Bujinovic and just going a bit wide, losing it on the grass. But managing to keep it out of the wall, fortunately, for the Dutch driver, who is currently in P5 for the sim races, behind which there is Daniel Hasri, and Sebastian Vettel. Casillas, however, has not given up. They are catching up to Chris Blue, but will it be enough? Or will it be too little, too late? As Kanemoto moves out of the way, rather interestingly, Casillas manages to gain a bit of time on Chris Blue. Oh, using all of the track, beautiful, not getting onto the grass. Coming close, Constantinaing in the braking zone, and that was still valid. The lap is still valid for Casillas. That means no warning for track limits. And they get to fight another day against Chris Blue. We don't know on how many track warnings there are, but it seems like everyone is keeping it pretty tidy between the white lines. Nobody is really getting a drive-through penalty, and that was Chris Blue just a bit wide there. But Casillas not... just spinning out and losing track position to Charmander in the meanwhile. Now that is the race over for Le Casillas then. Well, or at least the fight for P1 is over. Unless Chris Blue has a major incident, but let's hope that that not happens. We're not hoping for any incidents here. Adrian Dabrowski in the meanwhile has caught up a bit to CK Hawken, who's getting a bit wide and unsettled in front there. Dabrowska being the, well, it seems like the more safe of the two drivers, whereas Hawken the quicker. Competizione Integral in the meanwhile is back on track and has a very jumbled up front to the car. That is not looking the most healthy, as Fabiano Russo is looking to catch up to Jordan Brunch in front. But we are on the final lap, and Psycho Kaiser is looking to finish this race on P1. A dominant performance by the VTuber. Flashing the driver in front, which should be either Mentrix or Kanemoto. And Psycho Kaiser takes a magnificent win.
Leader has finished the race.
Very strong showing. Managing to snatch the purple lap in front of Chris Blue by a second. Now Chris Blue managing to take second position and Charmander third. Casillas in P4, Malikov in P5. BMW is having a great showing today. Gary Slater is looking to go into P6. Doesn't jumble up the last corner. Tom Hartog is following them with a safety distance. Daniel Nasri in the Nissan, still going strong in P6 for the Sim Racing, P8 overall. Back finishing in P9. And Merkur in P10. GK Hawken finished in P11. Adrian Dabrowka, P12. Anatoly Buinovic, P13. Yuri Nikolai, 14. Jordan Branch, 15. Fabiano Russo, 16. Kanemoto, 17. Mentrix, 18. Rech, 19. Hatayama, 20. And Trazione Integrale in 21st. That was race 1 of 2. Again, a strong showing by the Malaysian driver Psycho Kaiser. Let's see whether they can repeat that in race 2. And it seems like Sebastian Fack did not have enough fuel, underfueled, and therefore had to do a splash and dash to make it to the end. Getting some insights into the action behind the scenes right now. 70 liters ran by Chris Blue, the BMW. Well, there is a bit of a break. You can take a short smoke break if you like. You can drink. You can get something to drink. Yes, we will be waiting for the second race lineup. And then they're going to have to do a full formation lap as well. So yes, you can take a short break if you must. Be ready to return. This is the starting grid for race 2. Start will be making Psycho Kaiser in front of Charmander, Merkur VR, Casillas, Hartog, Russo, Back, Velikov, Blue, Slater, Buinovic, Brunch, Hazri, Nikolai, Rech, Dabrowka, Shikehawken, Tateyama, Integrale, Mentrix, and Kanemoto. Now a bit of a custom livery check. What's the difference between these two liveries? Okay. The bonnet is full on black on Kanemoto's car and mostly red on Mentrix's car. The yellow swirl is on Mentrix's car and the black roof on Kanemoto's vehicle. Got that? Right. Everyone is now equipped to get the better of me while commentating. Trazione with the very reasonable blue. I don't know if this is a custom livery. I don't think so. There we have a custom one though. Shirt. And the Bilstein, of course. That is a custom one. I saw the progress being made to that, and it is a lovely livery. And we have the Nissan. And Jordan Brunch forgot to press drive. This Nissan with, it seems like, Konosuba livery. As we go onto the formation lap. Will Psycho Kaiser get another one of those great stars that he showed off right there and then at the start of race 1? Or will Charmander this time take the outside line to get more speed through the corner? And what about Merkur? Will Merkur have a problematic start as last time again? Problematic starting session, that is. Starting can be hard, especially in big grids. It looks like everyone is getting ready, heating up their tires, heating up their brakes maybe even. We are still at an optimum track, 35 degrees track temperature and 0 kilometers per hour of wind. That is about 0 miles per hour of wind. And about 0 knots of wind. As they're coming up onto the last few corners, they will be lining up into a double formation, well, next to each other anyways. Let's hope that, oh, that was almost a spin in the formation lap by, I think that was Casillas. Managing to save it though. And who gets the better start this time around? We are in race 2. Everyone who joined in the meanwhile, welcome to TRACC, welcome to IVGTC. We are racing at Brands Hatch. Who will get the better start? Psycho Kaiser or Charmander? We'll see in a second. As Psycho Kaiser is way ahead.
Green light, green
And
light. Go,
we
go.
are green, green, green. Psycho Kaiser seems to have the better start, but there is some action going on behind. There are some 3 wide battles going on and some positions taken, some positions lost. Almost 4 wide into Druids there. Dubrovka having to swerve out of the way. There's still 2 wide by. That is Yuri Nikolai and Christoph Vrech. Well, let's see who is in the race lead. It is still Psycho Kaiser getting the head start on Charmander, who's being followed closely by Casillas, who has a good start this time around, not like last time. There's some fight going on here for P12. Vrech is being followed by Hartog and Nasri. What will the drivers do? Will they be able to fight? Will they be able to get a position? There's someone off the track, it seems, further up ahead. There's a bit of a yellow flag. Who is losing positions? It is a white McLaren. And there is a touch between Sebastian Fack and I think that is Velikov going for the overtake. That was Russo losing positions like there is no tomorrow. Further up ahead, Velikov is on the inside of Fack, taking the position of them. TRACC is not done with this, however. They are staying right behind. They are both directly behind Gary Slater. This is a bit of a fun one, by the way. Gary Slater and Anatoly Buinovic are both driving a black Audi. But further behind, Christoph Retsch seemed to have tossed a yellow flag. And Yuri Nikolai as well. Spinning out, just going wide. Are they going back onto the track? How are they going to rejoin safely as possible? That is good to see. Oh, but that's not good to see. Oh, that was a bit too much on the accelerator there, Yuri. Adrian Dabrowka had a bit of an off-track moment too, it seems. However, still battling. Sebastian Fack right behind Mikhail Velikov. Who will get the better of those two drivers? BMW or the McLaren? Fack is definitely looking fighty and racy today. Love to see it. There's a bit of an off-track for Velikov. Velikov very unstable, and also Fack behind them. A bit off-track. Oh, a bit sideways, and both of them saved it, however. Nice car control by the two. Oh, drifting a bit through the fast corners. Jordan Brunch trying to take Mentrix, and Mentrix going a bit unstable. Now let's see, who are the winners and losers of the start? Jordan Brunch, starting from the very back, managed to already take up 5 positions. Losers of the start were Yuri Nikolai and Christoph Retsch. Christoph Retsch being in the pits actually now. Him off there in the pits. Further up ahead, Chris Blues again managed to make up 4 positions in the start. It's looking catch up to Merkur and Casillas. In the meanwhile, Tom Hartog is being followed by Gary Slater. Hartog having the edge through the faster sections, though, it seems, as the BMW driver manages to open the gap quite a bit. Jordan Brunch. Oh, Jordan Brunch will have to deal with Tateyama right there. Tateyama not the best of pings currently. Pinging a bit from left to right. This is a tough position to overtake if something like this happens. But Tateyama goes off track and Brunch manages to make it through. Casillas, in the meanwhile, is looking rather racy coming up towards Charmander. Trying to defend the honor of the sim races, Casillas is currently the front runner of all of the sim races. But they haven't managed to overtake Chris Blue last time around, and I have to say, I believe Charmander is quicker. However, the overtake manages to stick it through the flowing fast GP section of Brands Hatch. Very beautifully done by La Casillas. There must have been a bit of a trouble for Charmander. Now it's on Le Casillas. Can they catch up to Psycho Kaiser? Honestly, I doubt it, because Psycho Kaiser is already putting in low to mid 24s. The purple lap belonging to Psycho Kaiser with a 24.247. However, Charmander is not giving up on that position. They want to have a buffer between them and Mirko VR, who is coming in the background. Can they retake the position? It seems like not at this moment in time. However, they will keep staying on the back of Casillas, as Gary Slater is staying on the back of Buinovic. Actually, this is pretty much a three-way battle between Tom Hartog, Buinovic and Slater. As Buinovic goes wide and Slater goes through. That is an easy position made. But that is Brands Hatch, ladies and gentlemen. Brands Hatch being a tough place to drive. A pretty narrow track. Keeping it on the racetrack is an important task. It's a difficult task. Keeping it clean for all of the laps that we're doing is going to be a big challenge for everyone, except for, it seems, Psycho Kaiser. Buinovic in the meanwhile had a bit of a yellow flag. Further up ahead there's Hartog in front of... Is that a back marker? Is that a back marker of Yuri Nikolai? It is. Charmander is still looking racy, keeping it behind Le Casillas. He needs to get closer if he wants to make a move. This is not going to stick if they're just staying behind Le Casillas right there. Fabiano Russo, in the meanwhile, is looking fighty against Daniel Hazari. McLaren driver against the Nissan driver. Who is the edge? Oh, that was a bit of a white line through that corner. And Russo losing a bit of ground. Brazilian having a tough time around here. Losing almost a second in the last sector. Charmander in the meanwhile, still on the tails of Le Casillas. Putting in the better times. Charmander last time around did a 24.9, while Casillas did a 25.1. Charmander having had the edge basically for the last lap. Just by a bit over a tenth, however, only. Further back in the field, there's Kanemoto fighting against Mentrix. The two BMW drivers looking to not be last in their class. Kanemoto going a bit unstable there. But it seems like Mentrix has the better exit out of the corner. But Mentrix going for the defensive line. That is not going to give them the best line through the corners, through the fast and flowing section. Can Kanemoto make up the space, make up the positions? And that is Mentrix going off track as Kanemoto manages to make up the position. Russo in the meanwhile overtaking Daniel Hasri. Finally managing to make the move. That was a bit of a worthless replay. But yeah. There is a yellow flag on track. It is Tom Hartog. What is happening? Tom Hartog must have went a bit wide there, losing a position to Velikov. Now Slater is looking to capitalize on this situation as well, but Slater goes a bit wide, not the best exit out of Clark Corner onto the straight, start finish straight, and Tateyama had a bit of an incident. Yellow flag there, and Dabrovka is now passed. Mentrix having a bit of an incident while getting probably overtaken by Psycho Kaiser. Maybe going a bit off track and going off track again. That is an interesting way to be a back market simply because this can happen. And that is the front very damaged of Mentrix. Is Mentrix going to reset to the pits? Or are they going to continue? I think they're trying to continue. However, there are people coming now. This is a difficult situation. Ay, 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 ay. Unfortunate for the German driver. In the meantime, Charmander is now right up on Le Casillas. Right within the slipstream range. What can Charmander do out of this position? The track in the meanwhile has decreased in temperature by 1 degree. It's slowly but surely getting a bit cooler. And there's a yellow flag up ahead. That is back markers. That is Tateyama. And Tateyama's returning. And that is the race pretty much damaged for Le Casillas. What was happening here? Let's rewatch everything that happened. Tateyama is coming up here on the straight. Might be a bit too far back. But anyways. Let's see what happened there. Tateyama going through the quick section. And there is Psycho Kaiser in the back. Just coming ever closer, edging ever closer. And Tateyama just loses it. Comes back onto the racetrack. Psycho Kaiser was also affected by this. Not stepping on the brakes. Oh, that was the problem. And then trying to get on the gas into oncoming traffic. That is Tateyama's race over, and it seems like it is also Casillas in the pits right behind them. Oh, that is very unfortunate for the newcomer to the series, getting tangled up in such an incident. But they are just repairing and going on with their race. That is fighting spirit. I like that. Let us take a look at Gary Slater, who is followed by Vinovich, trying to catch up to Hartog in the meanwhile. But defending from Buinovic must be the #1 priority right now. Buinovic not close enough to make the move. However, Tom Hartog right in front of them, going off track just a bit. Gary Slater managing to open the gap to Buinovic. And Gary Slater now on the attack again against Tom Hartog. Braking a bit later into this bend. Right here. And onto the longest straight we go. Gary Slater not able to capitalize on the straight. To be able to make something happen through the fast and flowing section of the track. Losing a bit of ground to Tom Hartog. It seems like the second half of the racetrack is Tom Hartog's section, whereas the first half of the racetrack more in Gary Slater's hands. As Buinovic is now again closing up on Gary Slater. Slater maybe having to go on the defensive again. Right up ahead of them, there is Velikov on the tails of Velikov on the tails of Sebastian Feck, of course. Seems like the BMW driver is not the quicker of the two right now. But let's go back to the battle of the Audis as Gary Slater manages to open up the gap to Buinovic again. Further back we have Lecaseas getting a bit off track there, while probably getting out of the way of Charmander. Lecaseas, of course, being blue flagged and managing to make the overtake during the blue flag moment, while Dubrovka, Adrian Dubrovka, was, well, I guess, preoccupied with letting Charmander pass. Very unfortunate for the Aston Martin V12 driver, not seeing that Lecaseas was also there. In the meanwhile, Sebastian Feck and Velikov are fighting for position. They are vying for the second place on the Sim Racer podium, basically. The second step of the podium and the third step of the podium. That's what this battle is for. Velikov doesn't seem to give up. I am out of stuff to drink. So, as we are past half time of the race, let us take a look at the standings currently. We have Psycho Kaiser in the lead, in front of Charmander, Mirko VR, Chris Blue, following Mirko VR, Bastian Feck, followed by Velikov, then Tom Hartog, followed by Gary Slater and Anatoly Buinovic. Very much of them, and they crash! Buinovic! What happened there? Oh, that was Kanemoto. Let us take a look what happened there. Actually, from the helicam. Oh, yes, from the helicam. Let's see, there's Kanemoto in front, getting out of the way. trying to get out of the way, probably braking, going off track and losing it off track and just steering into the front of Buinovic. You don't go off track, people. You don't go off track to let people past. But some people seem to need to learn that the hard way. Anyways, Velikov following Sebastian Vettel. Still bit of a distance between the two now. And there is a yellow flag. What is happening? Mentrix is off. What happened there? Can we see it? Unfortunately, we cannot. Let's switch to Charmander then, who is being followed by Merkur in the meanwhile. Merkur picking up the pace late in the race, or just Charmander losing the pace. One of the two is happening. Or Charmander just had a small mistake. As the gap between Charmander and Merkur VR is already getting bigger and bigger again. DK Hawken in the meanwhile managed to get past Buinovic without a problem. Maybe Buinovic has some damage. He sure has some damage in the front of the car. And he enters the pits. Going maybe for a repair for the last few seconds. Or maybe stopping the race altogether. Let's hope it's just repairs and they continue the race. Further up ahead we have Velikov, who is still fighting with Sebastian Vettel. The German, and let me actually check where Velikov is from. And the Bulgarian. Ah, I see. German and the Bulgarian fighting it out still for the P2 spot. And there is Vettel going a bit wide, and that is the that is the possibility that Velikov needed. Just take this position. Now, who is the quicker of those two? Is Velikov quicker or is Vettel quicker? Not if he goes off track. Velikov isn't. Oh, very unfortunate for the Bulgarian. Not managing to hit their braking marker into the, I think it was the bottom bend. Tom Hartog now managing to get off track. What happened there? Just getting a bit loose out of this corner, managing to clip the grass, but saves it kind of in the grass. Tom Hartog now following Gary Slater after having been in front of him for so long. The Dutch does not wait a lap to start attacking. We only have 8 minutes left to the race. Only have short time left to the race, and Merkur VR is thinking the same while attacking Charmander. Tom Hartog, however, following Gary Slater closely. Seems like Tom Hartog has the pace. to follow. Does he have the pace to overtake? The gap opens up just a bit. As we switch back to Mercury, being close on the tails of Charmander. Charmander is a quick driver. I know that from personal experience, driving against them last season. As they go wide, and that is the possibility for Mercury VR to take the position. And Chris Blue manages to get past as well. Charmander will not be happy about this situation. Now what happens in Druids? Hopefully stays in Druids. Hopefully that problem is now all behind Charmander, and they will manage to get better, increase their speed once again. But catching up to Mercury will be difficult. They are 2 seconds ahead now. Meanwhile, Hartog is still behind Slater. As Hartog seems to get a better line and goes on the outside onto the straight. What can they do? Into the corner, and Hartog manages to make the overtake stick on the outside. Lovely move by Hartog to get in front of Gary Slater once again. What will Charmander do? Will he try to catch Chris Blue? I already get mixed up with the names now. So we have just under 6 minutes left. And in these 6 minutes, Charmander would have to make up 2.2 seconds. That is a tall task, especially seeing as Mercury is on pace. Still being in the 25s every time around. One thing that's sure, however, nobody is going to catch Psycho Kaiser. Psycho Kaiser is almost 19 seconds ahead of Mercury VR in second position. Now Gary Slater has also not given up on that 4th position in the Sim Racer class. Still managing to follow behind Tom Hartog rather closely. As CK Hawken goes a bit off track. As long as they didn't manage to damage their car, there's probably nothing that is going to change for the position. Harry Slater, in the meanwhile, is getting racy. I like to see that. Harry Slater managing to stay up and close with Tom Hartog. And Charmander is also trying to get close to Chris Bloom, trying to get the overtake done. And through this fast and flowing section, that is a tall task, to say the least. Both go a bit off track there. Managed to keep it in between the white lines, however. As there's a back marker of Shike Hawken coming up. How will they negotiate? Shike Hawken in front of them. Chris Blue is first to do so, and they touch! That is something that is going to be looked at by the stewards after the race. Definitely, most definitely. But that is Chris Blue even being overtaken by Sebastian Fack. That is the lead in sim racing class gone for Chris Blue. As Gary Slater is still keeping up with Tom Hartog. There's only 2 minutes left on the clock. That's about 2 laps. It seems like there's a back marker coming up. That might be kind of motor. It's kind of motor. Oh no, it's Menchix. We're a bit off track. Camera, please. As they both managed to negotiate the back marker, seemingly without a problem. Tom Hartog is still leading this battle in front of Gary Slater, but Gary Slater is coming and edging ever closer. Taking a bit of a wide line through Clark Curve, however. That is not going to be the best run onto the start-finish straight. And Velikov is also looking at Chris Blue now. But Gary Slater is right on the back of Tom Hartog. Hartog going a defensive line into this corner. To the start of this corner. After all, there's Menchix in the background going off track. Heiko Kaiser starting the last lap now.
Final lap now.
As Slater will have 1.5 laps left. Make the move stick. Make the overtake. Be the hero of P4. Seems like there's no back marker immediately upcoming, so all should be decided on pace and pace alone, as Slater gets a bit loose but manages to catch it nicely. Velikov in the meanwhile. In the last lap they are already, and they are fighting for P2. The time is now over. The next time Psycho Kaiser crosses the start-finish line, race is over. Everyone behind them will not have the possibility to make up positions anymore. As Chris Blue goes a bit wide there, but on the straight he should have the advantage. But the M4 of Velikov is coming close and going to the outside. What can Velikov do? The Bulgarian, can he make a move?
The leader has finished the race.
As Psycho Kaiser finishes the race in P1. But this battle isn't over yet. Chris Blue is going a bit wide. They are both very racy. Bill Velikov tried to go for a desperate last corner attempt. Doesn't seem like it. And Velikov stays behind Chris Blue for the start-finish straight. Yes. Okay. So we have Psycho Kaiser finishing in P1 in front of Mirko VR, Charmander, Sebastian Fack in P4, first sim racer. Chris Blue, Velikov, Hartog, Slater, Daniel, Asri. Still has to cross the start-finish line. In front of Fabiano Russo, Jordan Brunch, Lecaseas, Kay Hawken, Trazione Integrale, Adrian Dabrowka, Yuri Nikolai, Christoph Retsch, Tateyama, Mentrix, Winovich, Hanamoto. So, the second race is done, and the standings will get updated. The stewards will be having another day of work, another few days of work ahead of them, checking out all of the incidents, giving out post-race penalties. But this has been the race of Brands Hatch or TRACC IVGTC. Next week we are going racing again, and we are going racing on the Nürburgring of all places. We are going to travel to Germany. Maybe perhaps some of the German people increase their lead then. We will see next time around. Until then, I have been Julian Strasser. Thank you very much for watching TRACC, and goodbye.